Hey there kids, and welcome to Mr. Ken's video lectures. Now there has been a lot of confusion about those crazy old Punnett Squares, and I wanted to put together a lecture that we can put on the school server. You can go back, pause it whenever you need, listen to it a couple times, follow it through, so that instead of explaining it 4 or 5 times every single class, you can watch it whenever you need to, as long as you have access or you're in the school, alright? So I'm going to talk about Punnett Squares and why we use them. That's those little squares we've been doing with kind of like a window pane with 4 different windows in them. They are part of the genetics and heredity unit. They are how we tell what type of children 2 given parents might have. Now, for any child in the human, mammal, lots of species, basically any species that is sexual has male and female species, or parts of the species, we're going to talk about what kind of kids 2 parents might have. So in any given child, I guess, had a mom and a dad. The mom and the dad each had how many chromosomes? 46. Every person has 46 chromosomes. So we had 46 chromosomes, and I'm not going to draw every one of them, but chromosomes come in pairs. So we have pair 1, pair 2, pair 3, pair 4, all the way down to pair 22. And then a mom, being a woman, would have the sex chromosome of XX, and a dad would have 1 through 22 all the way down and have the sex chromosome of XY. Because XX makes you a female, XY makes you a male. However, in the rest of these chromosomes, they have some of the same traits. Alright? So the pair for chromosome 1, this mom, of course, also had a mom and a dad. And she got 1 of her chromosome number 1 from her mom, and 1 of her chromosome number 2 from her dad, or from their children's grandparents. So she has a chromosome from her mom and her dad. The dad also has a chromosome number 1, 2, 3, all the way down to 22 in X and Y. So the mom and the dad each have a pair of chromosome number 1. Alright, so we've zoomed in on chromosome number 1, or the pair of chromosome number 1, in the mom and in the dad. Now in each one of these chromosomes, there is a little band, and it is obviously not a complete band because we've talked about how chromosomes are coiled DNA, but there's a little tiny piece of DNA in each one of these chromosomes that tells the mom's body or the dad's body what colored eyes to have, or what colored hair to have. Or the example we use a lot, and some of what I found says it might not be a single gene, but we use it that way in most biology, or high school biology, is your earlobe, whether they are free earlobes or attached earlobes, and we've talked about this in class. But the mom has a gene that says from her mother one way that her earlobe should be, and from her dad which way her earlobes should be. The dad also has a chromosome from each one of his parents saying which way his chromosomes should be. So there are 2 options for these chromosomes, attached or free, for your earlobes. So a Punnett Square lets us figure out exactly what kind of kids these 2 parents might have. Now let's say that, and we've talked a little bit about these genes, okay? That the mom had 1 chromosome that's the dominant chromosome, capital E, and 1 chromosome that is a lowercase e. And the dad had 2 chromosomes saying that he should have free earlobes. So in this case, the free earlobe is a dominant, and the smaller earlobe, or the attached earlobe, is the recessive gene, the lowercase e. We're trying to figure out what kind of kids this mom and dad could have. Now if you remember from meiosis, the mom will eventually copy and double and split up her chromosomes into 4 egg cells. And she will have 2 egg cells with E, capital E, and 2 egg cells with lowercase e. And the dad would have 4 sperm cells with the capital E in it. So now that we've figured out what the mom and the dad had, we use something called a Punnett Square, that window pane thing, in order to figure out what kind of children that mom and dad could have. So we know, and you'll do this for every Punnett Square, but you start off with the key. It says what the dominant and the recessive genes are. So the key was that capital E, the dominant gene, equals earlobes, and the recessive gene, or the lowercase e, equals attached. Then we want to figure out the 2 parents. One parent, the mom, had 1 gene for free earlobes and 1 gene for attached. The dad had 2 genes for free earlobes. So again, first step, make a key that says whether it's a dominant or a recessive gene, or what the dominant gene is, what the recessive gene is. And it should be the same letter, just one is capital and one is lowercase. Then you're going to decide or figure out from the problem what the 2 parents are, what the mom is, what the dad is, what the male plant is, what the female plant is. Then for the Punnett Square, which is that little window pane we use, it's like a window into the future of their children. We start off with 1 parent, and it could be either parent on the left side and either parent on the top here, but those are the 2 locations. So I'm going to start off with the mom here. She had a dominant gene, a capital E, for free earlobes, and a recessive gene, a low E, for attached earlobes. The dad had 2 dominant genes for free earlobes. Then all you have to do from this square is 1 parent goes here, 1 parent goes on the top. You simply start, and I normally start on the side that has the most dominant genes. So in this case, the dad, you take that capital E and you just copy it straight down the row that's underneath him, all right? So covering this up, I'm just bringing this E down. And you'll do the same thing with whatever letter is in that top right position. Then we use the other side. I'm going to take this capital E across and add it to each block. And I'm going to take the lowercase e and attach it or carry it across into each block. It's a little bit like a multiplication table. The letters that show up in a given square, if this was 1 times 2, it's where the 2 sides come together and come down. So this one should have a capital E and a lowercase e. This box should have a capital E and a lowercase e. That's how you can tell what letters should be in there.